Hello all, welcome to Clark Technologies, and we are very happy to announce that we are going to provide a free course for MuleSoft for all the freshers and beginners and who want to learn MuleSoft from scratch. This is entirely free course which we are going to release on day by day basis. So it will be a 30 days course, so it is very helpful for you to learn MuleSoft from scratch. And we have explained this course with the real-time project. We have built a real-time project also. In order to explain that, we have created a couple of files and project code as well. So if you want to get those files and projects, please email us with this subject line, request to share level 1 course file. Also, we have an important announcement that we are planning to release a MuleSoft advanced level 2 course very soon. So in this course, we will be discussing most of the topics of MuleSoft, which will help you very well in order to complete level 2 certification as well as to work on complex real-time projects as well. So I hope you will be enjoying that course as well. So if you want to know more details about advanced level course, please contact us via mobile or email. We will be sharing those details. So without further delay, let's get started. Hello all, welcome to Clark Technologies. I hope you have seen our previous videos in this playlist to get better understanding of what we have done so far and what we are going to do in this video and what is our future video plans and all, right? So this is a new course which we have launched recently with the real-time project implementation. Okay, so if you are watching this video first, I highly recommended you watch our previous videos so that you will understand the flow and what we are going to do in this project, so that will help you to follow the flow, right? So in our previous video, what we have discussed, we have designed a RAML. We have started designing the RAML for a couple of resources. So we have done library ID URI parameter and books post method we have done. So to save some time, I have added get method also before I start this video. I will explain how I designed this get method. If you remember, we have 4 features we are going to implement now in this particular project in the phase 1. So the fourth one is based on the rating and library code, you need to get the books details for this same books resource. So that resource, that get method I have added, I'll explain that as well. Okay, so let me go through that get method first, then we will discuss about today topic. Today we will be discussing about what are the fragments, what are the RAML fragments, what are the different fragments available, how we can use that, and what is the use of the fragments, and much more details we will discuss in detail. Okay, okay, let me just go through this get method. See here, I have added this get method. Till this one we covered in previous video. Okay, so I just added the new get method. This get method should be under books resource only. See, for every resource we can add 4 methods, 4 different methods we can add. So one post method, one get method we can add for the same resource. That is why whenever I clicked on get, it is getting added here under the same resource. If you see, this is one get method for libraries and one get method for libraries, library ID URI parameter. But for this books, we need to create a new book and we need to get the existing book details based on the rating and library code. That is why we have added 2 methods here for this books resource. So what I have done, under the same indentation of the post method, if you can just observe closely, under the same indentation of the post method, I have added get. I just click on the get from the suggestion. Then I have added the description like what this method is going to do, what this particular resource is going to do. So this method, this get method is useful to get book details from the database based on the query parameter rating and even library code as well. I forgot to mention that. So whenever we pass the book rating and library code, it should pull all the books details available in that particular library based on the library code, and those books should be rating under greater than 4 or 5, like that, whatever rating number we are sending in the input parameter. So that is a requirement for this method. So even for this method also, I have to add the same headers which we have done for the other 3 methods. So headers I have added client ID, client secret, X correlation ID. These 3 are added here. So if you can see, we have added all the same headers for all the previous methods also. Okay, so just like similar to that, I have added headers for this get method. So from this line number 148 to this line number 217, I have added now compared to previous video. So I have added the headers, and if you remember, we need to add query parameters for this method. We should have two query parameters. So that is why after the headers, when once you click enter, it will show you query parameters option here in the suggestion. You can just click on that, it will get added here as a query parameter like this, line number 160. Okay, now let's come down. So here what is my requirement? I need to add two query parameters. Those two query parameters are rating and library code. So I need to add rating. This is one query parameter. Library code is another query parameters. So I have added one by one in the same indentation level. And I put colon. So whenever I type rating and colon under this query parameters, it will read like rating is one of the query parameter of this particular resource of get method. Okay, and whenever I added one more name called library code under this rating same indentation line, it will treat this is another query parameter of this particular get method of same resource books. So likewise, you can define as many as query parameter as per the requirement. But if you can observe the attributes, I have changed little bit. Okay, so earlier for all the attributes we have added only string description, type description, only these two values we have added. But now I have added more values. I'll explain one by one. So for this rating query parameter, is it mandatory or not? So in my requirement it is mandatory, because whenever someone click on this method, even by using mocking or something, see here string rating is query parameter, my query parameter name, and the type is string by default. I didn't mention string here, the type. If you didn't mention any type here, it will by default take it as a string. And I have mentioned is required is true. That is why the rating query parameters it is showing required. So let's say if I have given false, it won't show you here the required one. So that is why this mocking service is useful for us. So okay, I'll mention it as required is true. So I want to send this value mandatory. So I have mentioned true. So it is coming as a required. So I need to mention the value for this. I need to send value for this rating query parameter whenever I trigger this endpoint. Okay, and what about this enum? Okay, this is the new property I have added for this particular query parameter. So what is the use of this enum type? See, whenever if you have only fixed values, like for example, in any application form, if you want to fill any application form, there is a column called gender. So you need to mention you are a male or female, or you don't want to specify. Only three options are there. There is no another options, or there is no fill in the blanks, or there is no multiple choice questions answers like that, because for the gender we have only two values, male or female. You need to select any one of them. If you don't want to specify, maybe you can specify the another checkbox. I don't want to mention like that. That's it. At the worst case we have these three options, but to be frank we have only two options, any gender, male or female. That is there for usually for all applications forms. Don't come into controversy like another gender categories and all. Okay, just leave the topic. So we have only two values. You need to select any value, any one value from those two values. Okay, so like that, if you want to mention anything in that, as if that is your requirement, like if you want to select, let's say if a user have to send only rating 1 to 5, 1 2 3 4 5, if user have to select only any one value from these 5 values, now you can use this enum property here, enum attribute here. In that, in the braces, you can mention all the possible values. So whenever you mention the values here it will show you. So enum value, you need to select any one value for this rating. whenever you try this application. See, let's test this once, that you will be understanding in a better way. So you need to select marking service here, come down, see rating. For this rating only 5 values are there. You need to select any one value from this 5. There is no option to select any other random value or something. You need to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't want to mention 5, you can just remove this. Now let's come back and yeah, it is automatically refreshed. So now see, there is no 5 values not there. 5 is not there here. So you need to select only 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this. If you want to restrict any parameter or any property, it should select only the list of values available here. Other than that, it should not select any other value if you have any requirement like that. So for in my case, I have a requirement like for this rating field, I need to select only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whenever you select 4, all the books which are having rating 4 will display here. Whenever I select 5, all the books which is having 5 rating will display here. Okay, like that. For example, even in your Amazon also, if you want to select any products, you have a filter option, right? Say for example, if you are searching for any mobile, you will search for mobiles, latest mobiles, and you have a filter option like rating greater than 5 or average rating is 4, like that, right? So just like similar to that, you need to select any value from this 5 possible values which we have mentioned here. So if you have that requirement, you can use this enum property. And example 4 that we have already discussed, we can give any one value as an example. Library code is another query parameter. For this, there is no specific values. We can give any library code which is available in the database. So I didn't mention any enum. So library code I have just mentioned just for our understanding purpose, it is false, but in real time it should be true. We need to pass rating and library code, then only it will pull all the books information from the database which are having rating matched to this value, and those books are available in this particular library code location. Another two values properties I have mentioned here, max length and min length. Okay, these two also important for your RAML if you want to define any resource. So what is max length? So for this particular library code, for this library, this is the library code, right? For this query parameter, minimum 6 letters you need to pass or maximum 10 letters you have to pass. If you should not give any 5 letters or less than 6 or greater than 10. See, for example, here my library code in my database, it is having 6 letters. So minimum length I have mentioned 6. So in case of if it grows gradually, we need to add a few more like a few more library codes. We may have max length. I mean, we may have library code of 7 digits or 8 digits also. But as of now, minimum you need to mention 6 length of letters. Maximum you can give 10. It will not accept 5 letters or 11 letters. So if you have a requirement to restrict any property, it should have only minimum length or maximum length. You can use these two values. Let's check this as well. See, library code is invalid. You need to give. So minimum length is 6 na. If I give something like 1, 2, 3, it will not accept. So library code is invalid because you need to mention at least 6 letters. Okay. So now let me give IBS 1, 2, 3. It will accept because it is having 6. When I give 7 letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will not accept. 5, 6, it will accept, right? Because I have mentioned min length is 6. Whenever you give 6 length, it will accept. So 7, 8, 9, 10, till 10 it will accept because max length we have mentioned 10. Let's say if I give another digit, it won't allow me to type as well. So I'm typing, but it will not allow. Let's say if we can give 11 is the max length. Now it will allow you to type another number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 as well. Now it will allow me to 11, and when I type another number it won't accept because we have mentioned max length is 11. So like that you can utilize these two properties also. whenever you want to restrict any particular property to accept minimum this many characters or maximum this many characters. The good example is mobile number. So if you have any field like mobile number, we have 10 digits mobile number, right? So if someone gives some wrong mobile number or wrong digit mobile number like 1234, some random number, it should not accept. So minimum mobile number length is 10. So in that case, minimum length you can specify 10th and maximum length also you can specify 10. So they should not give any other more digits than 10. Like that, you can utilize these two variables. So that is about query parameters. And responses, I have added the same. I mean, 200 successful response, and I have given the example also. Just we mentioned in our sheet. Then the 404 is the error response. This error response is also, I have just copied everything, all the lines from previous resource. Sorry, something happened. Okay, yeah, for this 202, line number 202, 2 from this 217, this is the same error response, 404 error response, which is for post resource as well. So I have added the same here. So I think you now you understand the get method which I have added. Now let's come into our main topic of this particular video. So now we need to discuss about the fragments. So what is the need of fragment? First thing. So fragment is nothing but a reusable code you can write once and utilize more times. See, for example, in our particular project, if you observe closely, this is the headers information, right? This header information is same. I mean, like client ID, client secret, external, I mean, X correlation ID, these three properties are under header, and these headers should be added to all the methods. So how many methods we have as of now? 4 methods. Okay, let me go to summary. So as of now, we have 4 methods. This library is get, library is library get, and this post. And you can count methods by using these methods itself. How many resources you have? So 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 methods, and the headers information is common for all these 4 methods. So you need to write these headers for all the methods. Why do we need to write everything if it is same? Why do we need to write everything again and again? So MuleSoft itself, Mule ESB means the main motto of Mule ESB is to avoid this donkey work, right? So you know, Mule means the hybrid of horse and uh, donkey, I think. So the main motto of MuleSoft tool itself is to avoid the donkey work. Donkey work means doing the work, same work again and again. So that is why, to extend the reusability, fragments is come into picture. So in our case, the same headers information we need to add for all the 4 methods. So what we have done as of now, so we have write the same headers here, and we have added the same headers here for this method. Also we have added the same headers for the other post method and get method also. So why do we need to write the same code again and again? To avoid that, we have a fragments. So by using fragments, what we can achieve, we can write this code somewhere only once. I mean, we can write this complete headers information. Let me just copy. We can write complete headers somewhere in some other file or some other place. We can refer that into all the methods. Instead of writing all these 10 lines again and again, we can write somewhere these 10 lines and we can refer this in all the methods, so that will reduce the code, right? That will be easy to extend that will make our RAML also user friendly, and it is very human readable, right? So to avoid redundancy of code, duplication of code, fragments come into picture. Only thing you need to know which fragment is used for which purpose, and how we can include that fragments into our main RAML to make a complete RAML. That thing you need to know. And another one is also for this properties. See, for this success response of this, we have library code, library bench, these two properties we have. But these two properties will be used for all the other methods also. Even for this library's library ID, this method also, in the response, we are expecting same properties, library code, library name, like that. So this is another scenario. So if you want to instead of writing all the request parameters or how can we say request properties or request payload properties, request payload fields, all the fields again same for all the methods. Instead of writing again and again, we can write all these properties information somewhere, that is another fragment. You can include that here. Another one like that, examples. Okay, see for examples, this example, it has multiple lines of code. See for example, here, so from 201, 201 is the end of the line, yeah, from 178 to 201, maybe 177 to 201, these many lines of code is there to add this particular example value. This is not the real-time value also. So instead of adding here, we can add this response in some other file. We can refer here. So in that way, it will save this 20 lines of code. And your RAML also looks good. And we can use this example for even other resources as well. So if someone want to build any other API, in our case also, we need to create multiple REST APIs, right? We are planning to build these many REST APIs in this project. So let's say this examples is common, this headers is common for all the APIs. Instead of writing these headers in all the APIs, you can write somewhere, you can refer it from there. So that is the main motto of fragments. Now let's see what are the different fragments available in RAML and what is the use of each and every fragment, what is the situation, what is the use of each and every fragment and where we need to use, how we can use. We can discuss that once theoretically, then we will do that practically, and we can redesign our RAML by using all the fragments. Okay, let's do one by one. So to do that, I have created one one PPT to demonstrate these reusable fragments in a pictorial way. So once we discuss these things, then we will redesign our RAML. Okay, so let's just open it. Let me just maximize this. So let us see what are the different fragments available in RAML. Okay, so I have captured only few fragments, majorly used fragments in MuleSoft. We have one or two extra fragments in real time for RAML, but those are not useful for us. Okay, so you need to concentrate on these 5 or 6 fragments, including libraries. Let us see what is the use of each and every fragment first in this slide. Then we will see how to use this in our main RAML specification. Okay, so we have, as we said, like we have different types of fragments. The first one might be, these fragments are we no need to follow any order or something. These are individual to one another. We need to remember what is the use of this fragment and how to use it, how to design it, how to include it, or how to use it in our specification. These things you need to know first. So traits. What is the use of traits fragment? As we see in our RAML, we have common header parameters for all the methods, right? The client ID, client secret, X correlation ID. So all these 3 headers are common for all the methods in our RAML. So to capture or to have all the common headers in one place, we have a fragment called traits. So by using traits, we can capture all the common headers or any common query parameters. We can capture headers and query parameters in a separate trait, and then we can use this trait into our main RAML specification. So as of now, what we have done, we have created one RAML, right? This one. This RAML REST API is nothing but API specification. It means it is the actual RAML. Whenever you see the first line RAML 1.2, this is API specification. It means this is the main RAML, this is the actual RAML. But whenever you are going to create which one, the fragment. Okay, let me just re-log in. It got expired. So whenever you create a RAML fragment, it doesn't mean that we cannot use the fragment individually, or we cannot call the fragment individually. But this RAML specification is the one which is the main RAML. We can utilize this main RAML, but fragments are little pieces of information it has, so we cannot treat that as a RAML specification. You will understand better once we design all these things. You will understand better what is the difference between fragment and specification. So let's first concentrate on what are the different types of fragments available. So traits is useful for creating common headers and query parameters. Remember that part. Then maybe security schemas. What is the use of security schemas? So if in your application, maybe in our REST API, we are going to apply a couple of policies. Like we will discuss in more detail what are the different policies available and all in later sessions. But now just remember, security schemas fragment is used to capture all the common security related information or authentication related information. So in our API, we need to provide security. That is the paramount thing. That is the main important thing. Where before you deliver the application, before you deliver the API, you need to make sure that your API is more secure. Okay. So to do that, we have a couple of policies in API. So we need to apply those policies in our REST API. While applying that policies, we need to send couple of headers or a couple of other information like tokens and all to access that API. So that information we can capture in security schema fragment, and we can utilize this in our main RAML specification. Next one is data types. So what is the use of data types fragment? If you remember, let's go back to our RAML. As in our RAML, we don't have any security schema as of now. That is why I didn't cover that here. Okay, so data types. Coming to data types, see for this slash libraries resource, for this get method, to get the response, we have these properties, right? Get response properties, library code, library branch, right? So how your response payload looks like this. Okay. For the post method, we have this for this, right? So yeah, for the post method, how your request payload looks like. We have this request payload. Okay, so to define these common, see for 2 or more resources or for 2 or more APIs, this request response payload is also same sometimes. So in that case, instead of writing these properties for each and every resource, we can take this common properties somewhere, we can utilize it, right? So to create common properties, which means common request payload or common response payload, to define those structure, we can use data types. So data types is useful for properties of request, response payload or body payload. Or if you can see, for sure every resource have error 1 or 404, or the error response will be common for all the methods, right? Like this error code, status code, error types. We can define this as a one data type and we can include it here in this RAML specification. This is RAML specification. We can remove this code from here. We can create one fragment called data type earlier. I mean, the outside. You can include that data type here. Instead of writing these many lines of code, we can just use one line of code to include that file here. We will see that is also. So that is the use of data type. Then examples. Examples, the name itself, to provide any common example like this. For our last resource, if you remember, I have given example in this way for this JSON example, right? So instead of writing here, you can remove this example here. You can create one fragment called example. We can name it as example. There you can write that example file and you can include that into main RAML. So that is simple. Next one, resource types. So resource type is used to define the common definition of methods: get, post, put, delete, like this. See, for example, in most of the RAMLs, or let's see, now we are actually concentrating on only one REST API, IBS library management, SAPI, system API. Right? So we have to write the same for process API, experience API also, only if we consider these 3 APIs. But in real time, actually in our whole project, to complete this whole project, we have to implement multiple APIs. So let's say these are 9 APIs visible here, right? Let's say 4 of the APIs are using same get method, same get definition. So for that, maybe we can create one common get method. We can include those get method into all the 4 APIs, right? So to do that, we can use resource type as a fragment. We can create one fragment of resource type for all the common get, put, post, delete methods for to define the structure. But the actual data, actual responses will differ. That we can manage through other resources, I mean other fragments. Okay, so to define any common definition of methods, we can use resource types. So this is the use of all these 5 fragments. So then what about libraries? Library is also one of the fragment, but library means you can include all the data types, all the traits, all the security schemas, examples, resource types into one file called libraries. See, you can define traits individually, security schemas individually, data types individually, all these things individually you can define somewhere. Let's say if you want to use one trait from this, two data types from this, one example from this, 4 resource types from this. Like that, if you want to define one common library kind of stuff, you can use libraries fragment, and you can include all these other fragments into these libraries. You can utilize this library. You can include this library into your RAML specification. Then that will be easy for you before instead of including all these other traits individually. So don't get confused at this moment. I can understand at this moment you will have little confusion of this all the fragments and all. Just remember which fragment is used for what purpose. Then we will see once we are doing it practically. We will see and we will understand. Once we are redesigning this RAML, right? Then you will understand little more better. So first remember which fragment is useful for which purpose. That's it. So library means you can simply remember it's a collection of all the other fragments. Okay, traits is for headers query parameters, security schema is for authentication, data types is for properties of request payload or response payload, examples is for providing sample request or response payload sample examples, resource type is to define common get or put or HTTP methods or REST methods. Library is collection of all these things. So collection of all the other fragments is called library. So just a simple as simple as that. Just remember only these single lines. Okay. Now in the next slide we will see how to define this, how to use this in main RAML, or then in our next how to define this first thing, how to import them into main RAML, include, and then how to use this into body of the RAML. So by visiting this one, you will not understand this point. Let's start doing the practice. Then we will understand these 2 slides. I will compare these 2 slides and I will make you understand these things. So as of now, we will just hold on for these 2 slides. Just remember which fragment is for which uses. Then actually, how many ways a fragment can create? We have these many fragments, right? So how many ways we can create these fragments? We have three ways to define fragments. Based on your requirement, you can utilize anything you want. Okay, so one is the inline, local, global. We will understand the difference between all these 3 things very soon. Okay, now let's go back to this one. Let's start redesigning this RAML. Then you will understand the traits. See, now let's first get rid of this header section. So in every method we have see, for now let's see how many lines of code we have for these 4 methods. We have 217 lines, right? Okay, let's create a fragments and let's simplify this. So I'm just copying headers from here. Sorry, it is not. I'm just removing it from here first. Okay, let me copy paste something. I just wanted to take this backup in one notepad. Okay, let me just paste it here, the header section. Okay, I'll remove all the headers from all the methods. Okay, so I'm just removing here. I don't want to write the redundant code now. Okay, so now I'm just removing here as well. and this is the last one where I have captured. Okay, so yeah, so I removed all the headers first thing. Now the lines of code is 181, but we need to use add those headers, but not in this way as a redundant code. Okay, so I said like we have three ways to define. One is inline. So let's see that first. So inline means if you define all the traits, all the headers here in the main RAML specification itself at the header level, that is called inline. Okay, so now to define these headers, what is the fragment type? If you remember this slide, so to define common headers or query parameters, we have to use traits, right? So let's try to define here. So see here traits are there, na? Traits, resource types, all there, na? So let's click on traits. Now under traits, what you want to define? Headers, alright? So let's define header info. Maybe I can give this name. You can give any name for now. Now enter. Let's paste that headers information. So this information we have copied here now. So let's paste it here. So now I have defined traits globally. Inline means in the RAML specification itself I have defined at header level, not at the method level. Header level means it's a root level, common data. Once we define this, then the all the resources will come, right? So now I have defined traits here. Now I want to utilize that header here by using is keyword. This is the most important interview questions for you. So how to define that, what are the uses of each and every fragment, and how to define that, how to use that. These are the three different questions you will get. So let's now go back to this slide. See, this is the slide where you can understand how to use them in main RAML for resources. So now refer this. So to use these traits, you have a keyword called is, and then hyphen, you need to give the trait name. So is keyword I have already selected. Now you need to give the trait name. See, suggestions are automatically coming here. Header info. What is this header info? We have given one name here, right? Header info. Under the traits, we have given one name. This name we have defined. Actually, you can give any name here. This is our choice. I have just given header info, but inside that you need to follow the syntax. And yeah. Some indentation issue is there, right? Okay, yeah. So header info. Now you need to select this one and you can copy there, or else it will give you suggestion also. You can use that. So header info. Okay, some error is there. Okay, some indentation issue is there. Okay, so I think this one we need to just, yeah, some indentation issues there. So ease is coming under just get. So I just click on tab, just adjust the indentation. So just please make sure you are just observing the indentation. If any error is there, just try to adjust the indentation where it throws the error. Okay. Right. So now see, I didn't write that 10 lines of code. This 10 lines of header code I have written it as a common one under traits keyword. Now I have, by using this name, I am referring here in my method. Now let's see, let's test here. I have defined only for libraries get method. Now see, here all headers are coming. Client ID, client secret, correlation ID. These three headers coming, right? Why, how it comes? We have given one name here under this trait. This is nothing but defining the traits, defining the headers. To utilize the header, you are using the keyword is, and then you follow this syntax and you have given that name here. Now it will be appended to your method. Those headers are coming here when you click on the method. Client ID, client secret, correlation. Let's see for other methods how it looks like, because we didn't call this is header info in other methods, right? So let's check the other methods. So for library id URI parameter 1, there is no headers. See, it will not show any headers here because we didn't call. Let's verify for book post also. So for here also it is not showing any headers, it is not asking any headers. Maybe you can click on try it. Okay, there is no header information because we didn't add those headers here. See, there is no headers. Copy headers, under header it is empty. So now let's do the same for books post method. Let's call here and then let's see where is the books. Yeah, this is the post method, right? So now here see is word is there. You can just invoke that and now see the difference. See, once you call that with header info, automatically under the header section it is adding these three headers: client ID, client secret, X correlation ID. How these three headers come? Only with this one line of info. This is nothing but we are invoking that header here, but we actually define header here. So all these 10 lines we have defined here, but by using this name we are invoking in the methods wherever you want, right? So this is as simple as that, but it needs a lot of practice. So once you practice these things one or two times, then this will be easy for you. So these kind of definition, this kind of doing tries common to this RAML is nothing but inline method. To make you understand more clearly, I'll just explain this local, then I'll give you one simple example, then that will be easy for you to remember these traits and all. Okay, right. So this is nothing but inline, right? So what is the use? Why? What is the use of defining here? So whenever you define any traits or any fragment here inside this RAML specification itself as a header, and if you invoke them in these methods, you can utilize these headers only inside this RAML, inside for this methods only. If you want to invoke or if you want to add this header information, if you want to include this header into some other RAML, it won't be possible. See, for now, library management SAP, we are implementing a system API. So here in this RAML inside, if you define this, it is local to this particular specification, right? So this code is available here in this RAML itself. So it is available for this RAML only. If you want to include this header information for a process API or any other API, it is not possible, because code is available here only in this RAML inside local to this RAML. So that is nothing but inline. But we can actually remove this from here. In real time project we are not going to do any inline thing. So I'm just removing. Yeah, it will throw you error because this header info is not there here. So it will throw you error. Let's wait. Let's do one thing. So here we can create. Okay, so instead of adding inline information here, we can create a file, we can create a fragment called traits. Inside that we can paste that header information, and from there you can invoke it here in your methods. Okay, then that we can see now. Okay, now let's create one new folder called traits. This is again local method of creating fragments, because even though if you externalize these files here, it is available in this particular API only. So we cannot invoke this particular traits which we are going to create here. We cannot use this for other applications. Okay, so let me create one and I'll explain little more. Okay, now let's click here, new file. Okay, see here it will show you file type na. Instead of specification means main RAML. So now we are going to create one fragment called traits, right? So instead of this file type, you can select traits. See here all the traits, all the fragments are available. This annotation type, user documentation, and extension, overlay, these four are not that much useful for us. so we will not discuss them. So traits, create a trait. You can give this name as trait headers. You can just give any name. Click on create. See, now it will create one trait fragment for you, the RAML 1.0 space trait. If you observe main specification, it is just RAML 1.0. So this is RAML and this one is the fragment. Which fragment? Trait fragment. By using this you can remember easily. Okay, now click enter and paste that information. Now you no need to add these traits and you no need to add this header info. You should not give all these things. Okay, you can directly define headers. You can just adjust the indentation. To make it clear, you can leave as it is if you don't see any errors here, but just for yeah, so in this traits you have defined headers. Under that you have defined 3 headers: client ID, client secret, and X correlation. Okay, now you have defined file here. You need to include this file into this main RAML specification. Okay, how to include that? Let's go to our slide again. See, we have defined traits. Yeah, sorry, to import them into main RAM, because now we have created this file here as a separate file, but there is no link between this fragment file to this main specification. How this API, this RAML, this API specification will understand how to refer this header. So you need to establish some communication between these two files, right? So to do that, what you need to do in your main specification, you need to call this file. Okay, you need to include this fragment into your main specification. So to do that, you have to follow one syntax. You need to select traits and you can give any name here, as we already given this one. We can just use this name colon include. You can use include keyword, exclamatory include. Okay, and yeah, you can invoke this file here. You can do it in 2 ways. You can click here and click the copy name and you can paste it here. Otherwise it will show you suggestions also. You can just directly select this. Okay, that's it. So now you included this file here with the name header info. Instead of writing the 10 lines code here, you write this headers into called traits RAML. You included that file here and with the some name. This name you are referring here. Same. So now you have created headers here in the traits file. You include that file into this your main RAML by using this. Okay, you have given one name. By using this name header info, you are adding this header info to the headers by using is keyword. So now for all the methods, wherever you use this is keyword and header info, those methods will have this particular headers. Maybe let's change this name, header detail. Now it will throw error because this header info name is not there. Now we have given name like header detail. So you need to replace this. Now the error gone, right? So just like that, we have given for only 2 methods. Now we can give for other methods as well. So for this also, you need to just select to add these traits. You need to first select is, and it will show you the names here. Whatever the name you have given here, that name it will show here as a suggestion. You can just click on that, it will add. So now these headers are added for 2 methods. Even for this also, header info is not available now. So you need to just replace it with header detail. Now as we renamed it. Now for this get method also, you can just select is and follow the suggestions. You can just select the name whatever you want. Now some error is there for this indentation. Maybe you can just adjust this. Let me see, some issues there with indentation. Let me just remove this as well. So you have to make sure for this indentation you are following correct one. Okay, so let me, yeah, only here it is showing. No, again here it is showing that error. Okay, let me see how can we adjust. Okay, some culprit for this library header. Let me add that later. First let's add me. Let me add here. So is header info. Okay, now this you need to adjust. There is no error. Okay, now let's see how we can add this. So types and traits is this one. Now there is no error. So be careful while adding this. Just if you find any issues, just remove it and adjust it from starting onwards. Then it will be easy for you. It requires practice. That's it. So for all the methods, we have added the traits now. Okay, like this, you can add all the traits, properties, and everything here by creating multiple files and including those files here. See, we need to do in 3 different steps. First, you need to create the file or create the fragment, even local or global. Global thing we will see now, but this is for local. So that the one which we are trying is local usage of local creation of fragment. Okay, so we have created a file here inside this, and now we are utilizing this here. Okay, so 3 steps na. First one is creating the file. Third step is include that file by using the correct keywords and all, by using this into your main specification. See, to do that you need to remember few things. See, yeah, this one. So to include all the different fragments into your main RAML, this is the syntaxes. To include traits, you need to use traits keyword. To include security schemas, you need to use security schemas, and any name you can give and exclamatory include and the file name, just like we did. And to include any data types, you need to use this one. Types is the keyword. To include any examples, you have to use examples is the keyword. To include any resource types, you need to use resource types is the keyword. So for all the other fragments, it is same name to include them. Only for data types, there is no keyword called data types. You need to remember the types is the keyword to include. Okay, so likewise you can create as many as fragments as per your requirement, then you can use that. Only for libraries you will see the keyword is called usages, then that we will see in later. Okay, so this is called a local definition or local method of creating these traits and including it in our RAML and referring them. So we need to first create the file, include the file into main specification, use them into all the methods. So these 3 steps you need to remember before you are redesigning your RAML. Before you are working on any fragment, you need to follow this. So just like that, let's create one data type for this properties, or maybe for example, or else see, to include examples, that will be easy for you to understand. Okay, to include examples, you can follow example fragment or JSON files as well directly. So let me remove this example here. You will understand what I am talking. So I'm just removing this. So I have to use example here, right? So let me create one more folder called examples. Okay. Now inside this example, let me create one file called one JSON file. This time I'm not going to select example fragment here. I'm going to select other file to create JSON file. Okay. Let's see where is the other one. Data type is documentation. It is not allowing us to create other files. Maybe we can just create this JSON file somewhere, or you can import it. That will be all. That also work. So just paste it here. Save it with some JSON. Maybe on desktop I can save it with some file name. Let's see. Where is the desktop here? Or okay, downloads. Which method is this? You can just give any reasonable name, or this is to okay, get the books information. If I'm not wrong, yeah, get the books information based on the rating, right? Okay, let's give some reasonable name. So what I'm doing here is that example which I have added there in the JSON format, I removed from the RAML specification. I'm going to create a new JSON file. Inside this JSON file, I will paste that JSON data, and now I will include this file into my specification, and I'll refer that. I'll show you how we can do that. Okay, get book info based on rating dot JSON file. This is the JSON file, right? You need to mention that. Let's save this. Okay, now let's it's in the downloads now. Let me import that file here under this folder. So you can have import option. So you can select file and choose this file from downloads where you save that. Now this JSON file is getting imported. Now this file is imported now. So now you can use that file here by using include keyword. Include. Now it will show you all the folder structure also. See, I want to include example file here, right? So just click on example. Inside that it will show you what are the files available. You have this file. So just click on that. Right? So instead of writing those 20 lines of code, that complete example here, you can have the example in this JSON file. You can refer this. You can include this here. Now for this JSON kind of example, you should not there will be only two steps. There is no third step, middle step we can skip. So first step is to create the file. Second step is to include the example file wherever you want to add it as an example. Okay, for this JSON files, you no need to include here in the header section, and then you can refer with some other keyword. That is not there. You can just directly create the file. You can refer it, or you can include directly wherever you want to do this, add this example. That is the difference for this JSON file. So now what is the difference between the example fragment and this JSON file example? You need to understand that, right? See, for example, if you select any example fragment, you need to define all the examples field by field like this, like query parameters or like any other properties which we have defined here. Okay, so like this, you need to define for each and every field. You have to provide example, and you need to create that example.raml file in that way. That is little painful, right? So instead of that, we can use one JSON file. You can just copy paste the requested response from your technical design documentation, or where you have saved the required request and response. It is easy for us to copy this JSON file here into a JSON file. We can include that here in this example. This is little easy compared to the example fragment. That is why most of the projects are following this one while working with examples stuff. This is little easy. Okay. Yeah, or else you have to define all the properties examples one by one like this into a example.raml file. Then we need to refer that here in the specification. We need to use this in the method. So that is little painful and will take time. So we can just do this as a workaround. If you have time, if you have patience, you can follow that as well. Right? Okay. Now we have seen examples and traits. Now let's see how we can define data types, right? So now I am just removing this. This is for error response. Na? For error responses, 404 body, we have this 404 body for all the methods. Right now let's see how we can define this, how we can utilize this. Now I am just removing these properties here. Okay. I am just pasting it into some other notepad. Let's keep it here. Now see the properties. Properties means any request payload or response payload. What is the fragment available for that? We need to use data type. Data type is the fragment. Okay. This slide. Data type is the fragment. If you want to create a common properties of request or properties of response. So now we have to create a data type for this 404 error response. So for that also I am just going to first create a new folder. So for each and every fragment type, it's better to create a new folder, and in that folder create a file, because we have multiple data types. We will create multiple traits, we will create multiple examples. So if we have all these things in a single folder, that will be little clumsy. To make it little user readable, it is the best practices that we can do. Okay. So now data type is the folder. You can give any name for this folder. There is no rule that you need to give any name, but just for our understanding, it is easy to refer to include the files. That's why I'm just giving the meaningful name. So now in this data type folder, let's create new file. This time the file fragment type is data type. So now just click the data type. It is giving data type. Now let's name it as 404 data type, as we are going to write properties for this 404 response. Let's create. See, now it is showing data type. Now let's paste that. If there is no error, you don't need to bother about these extra spaces and all. Otherwise, maybe you can just okay. Let me paste now. Again, it is pasting another properties. Just let's remove. Let me just paste only this part. Or else I just wanted to remove this extra spaces. That's it. We can just decrease the indent like this, or else you can just ignore. If there is no error there, you can just ignore. To make it more clear, I am just trying to do this. Okay, now let me paste it. Okay, so now again, okay, mate. Let me remove this. You can select everything and click tab to adjust the indentation. Again, another properties is included. That is the thing. Sorry. Yeah. Now, yeah, this is the one. Yeah, we did nothing. We just copied that 404 properties, and we just create one data type kind of fragment here. We paste those properties here. That's it. So now we have created this. So for all the fragments, you need to remember 3 steps, right? Other than examples. So for data type also, we have created the file now. Now what the next step? We need to include that file in the header level. Then we need to refer at the method level. So the second step, to include the file. Now go back to this presentation. So to include that, to import them into main RAML, what is the keyword you need to use? Types. You need to give the types keyword and give any name, include that file. So types keyword will be there. This is the one. Select that. You can give 404 error. Any name you can give. Now you need to include that file which we have created here. Include. Now it will show you the folder structure also. Or else what you can do is now you can just click here, copy the path and paste it here. This is also works. So now we have done the 2 steps. We have created the file. We have included that file into the header path. Now what is the third step? We need to utilize this particular data type into our actual method definition. So to do that, you have to copy the name which you have defined here. I'm just copying it. Now come down. Wherever you find this 404, you can just remove these properties, because we are defining here manually. You can just remove this. So to add that, you have one keyword. In the third slide, you will find it. So see in the responses, wherever you want to add after this application/JSON or application/XML, I mean after this media type, you need to give type is the keyword and give that name. That's it. So for this error body 404 body application/JSON, this is there now. So next line, what you have to do, you need to select the type keyword and paste that name. That's it. Okay, now if you can see here what method it is, it's libraries URI parameter one, right? So yeah. So now maybe if you can see this, 404 method, maybe it will not visible for you here. Okay, let's try another one. But this is the process to include any data type. So for all, I have given for here, right? So let me do for all the other methods as well. For this /books post method, here also I have 404. So I'll remove all these things. Delete. What is the keyword you need to use to refer this? You need to use type and you need to give that name which you have defined earlier. So the same you can follow for here also. For the last method also, what is the keyword? That is the type and you need to give the name. This 404 error name where we have defined in the header level, we have given this name. In this name it will include the file from here. So this is the 3 steps. First you need to create the file, then include the file in the header level and refer that file with that name in all the methods. So for 3 methods I have added, but for one method I didn't. Right, for this first method I didn't. Yeah, here maybe let's add it from scratch. So here we have only 200 response. We can add this 404 response and include that file. So click tab until you see the error codes. Here you can see the error codes now. You have to add this 404 error now, right? So 404, select a body, select application/json. Now you no need to write everything. You need to just include or refer, right? So select a type and select the name. That's it. That's simple. Now see how many lines of code it reduced. Initially we have 217 lines. Now the RAML we have 137 lines because we have optimized this RAML with all the reusable fragments. Still we need to do more, but now it reduces the line of code, right? So now let's see for this libraries get method, get response. So here also we have these properties now. Let's remove this. Let's do it in the same way. I am just removing it, copying it in some notepad. This is for what? This is for get method response. Get response of libraries resources. So once you click on libraries, it will pull all the libraries details from the database, right? For that earlier we have defined couple of properties, but it has more properties. We can define all the properties once we do this in the global fragments. For now just to do this, okay, I just removed that. To define these properties, what is the fragment type? To define request properties or response properties, what is the fragment type? Data types. So I need to create one more data type here. So that is why I have created 3 different folders. So now to create data type, I'll go to this data type folder. I'll click on this new file and I'll select here the data type fragment name. Here this is the data type. Okay, I'll just give get libraries data type. Okay, now we have already captured that now somewhere in notepad. Just paste it here and adjust the indentation. Maybe so for this you can adjust the indentation. Let's write it. Okay, sorry. This example is for the entire one, not for this particular field, right? So I'll just remove this. I got it. I'll just adjust this indentation. If you want to go a little back, you can say Shift Tab. It will go back. If you press Tab, it will go little forward. Na? So to go backward, you need to use Shift Tab keywords. Okay. Now we have to provide example. Yeah, here you can provide the example for this entire one. Yeah, what happened? Yeah, let me just copy that entire example. This example also we can have it in another file. We can refer, but that's okay. As of now, we can just click here. So you understand the issue, right? So here, library code, library branch are the two different fields. And for this example is common. I mean, example is the collection of example. For all these two fields, it is a common example. It includes all the two fields in the example. So whenever I define example here under this description, it won't allow me because it will accept only this field, not the other field. Because this example come under library branch, it will accept only this field. So that is the mistake I have done. So whenever I created example outside these properties, like under this properties indentation, it will accept, I mean it will expect that example for these two fields. So that is what I have done. So it will automatically save. Okay, now what you need to do, you need to include this into your main. First step we have done. Second step you need to include. So to do that, you no need to create again another types keyword. If we have one types, that is enough. You can give another name and you can give that. So get libraries. I can give simply get libraries and I'll include this file. You can wait for the suggestions. Maybe it will take some time. Otherwise, if you know the thing, you can just simply type. include, and you now you need to include this file na. Just click here, copy the path, paste it here, it will include it. So now you need to refer this get libraries one, right? For this libraries get, we have referred headers, we have referred this type for error. Now you need to add this for 200 body success response. It is also same 200 response code body media type. Then under this you need to call that particular type which we have defined in the header part. So you need to select a type, you need to give that type name, get libraries, that is the name we have given, right? So like that we can create as many as fragments and we can include it here to minimize this. Okay, so let me grab this query parameters also. Let's create another traits, because query parameters headers we are going to use traits fragment, right? So under this traits folder, let me create new file and the type called traits, query params, maybe you can name it as okay. Let me just paste that query parameters here, right? So it will automatically saved. Now let's go to our main RAML. Main RAML will be available here like a root file. If you don't have any idea about these fragments and what is the main RAML and all, you can see this. If it is root file, it means see API specification projects have a root file which sets context of parsing your project. So this root file is your main specification. So you can create as many as fragments and you can include them into this root file. So that is the thing. Okay. Let's see some error it is showing. That's fine. Okay, so now we have created one more traits called query params. Now you need to, second step is you need to include this in the header part under the traits, because query params is also traits, right? So I can say query p, just I can give any name. So that is why I just give this name, but you need to follow naming conventions. So include, which file you need to include this query params traits, right? So copy the path, use it here. That's it. Now you have included it. How to use this? Just copy this name, go back to that method where you need this query parameter, this get method, right? So now as the one we have added one trait for the headers, now you can add one more trait, okay, for this query parameters. That's it. Now you can just verify if this is getting added or not. See, now this particular get method definition is coming which line, how many lines, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, only 13 to 14 lines, and the entire RAML also uh, come to 116 lines. Earlier it is 200 something, right? So like this you need to optimize your RAML, which looks very good for you. Now let's see if it is getting added or not. Books get method na. So now we have added header details as traits, query parameters as traits, and this response example, this example. Let's see how it looks like. So now you can just click on this method. Let's try it. There it is. Let's click on try it. Okay. See, query parameters, it is showing this rating and library code, but we have not write that query parameters code here. We have written that query parameters code here in this trait, and we have included it and we have referred it. But now it is mapping here like this. And headers also it is mapping. Now we have just defined header detail, which is the name which we have included the file here. Right? So all the headers are also coming. Now let's see how the responses will come. Okay. Maybe in the documentation you can see what are the possible responses before you try it. See, this is the possible responses. So how many responses you define? Here it will show here before you try that. As of now, we have defined 200 200 success response, 404 error response for this method, right? 200, 404. So these two will show here. You can just directly see the format or any dummy data here like this. So how this example come here? This 404. We have defined this example here. Sorry, under this example. No, this is the data type, right? Yeah, we have defined this data type here. Inside this data type, we have these examples. So that is why it came here. Okay. Wait, why it is throwing? Okay, it is again indentation issue. Yeah, now it gone. Right? Like this, you can include as many as fragments, but this is local definition because we have all the data type, examples, traits, resource type, everything here in this RAML itself. But what we can do as a global definition is like we can create these fragments and publish to exchange and refer from the exchange. That is the main thing we will do in our real-time projects. But few resources which are specific to this RAML, you can define locally like this, you can use like this. But few are common, like for this error example 404, 400, it is common for all the APIs, not only all the methods of this APIs. It will be common for all the APIs, right? So in that way, you can define this 404 error responses or any other common headers globally. You can publish it to Exchange. You can refer it from there. That is called global definition. That we will see in our next video. Okay, as of now, just practice this inline definition and this local definition of fragments, include them here and call it here. Okay, so this is 201. For this also we can create one thing, right? Just remove this. This is 201 response and we are defining properties for this which one? Books post method. So to define properties, what is the fragment? It is the data type, right? So create new data type. Now I'll move little fast. This is 201 data type. Create. Paste it here. We have done with the first step. Now come to your root file or specification. This 201 type you need to define here. Yes, this is the data type. You need to define here. 201 response. Maybe you can give name. And now you need to include the 201 file. Just copy that path to make little fast. Okay. Include. Paste it here. Second step also we have done. Now we need to refer this into your method. That is the third step. So like this, you can create as many as data types. Okay. And you can refer for this post response, right? So here how you can refer type keyword and that name. Right. Now like that, request payload also we can give. I'm just removing from here. I can give one more one like data type. Okay. Now it is book na get create book request data type. We can name it in this way. Okay. Now you can just paste those properties here as it is and then go to your root file. You need to include that. It is same story for all the fragments. So here you can give same name or any other name you can give. So create book or EQ. Just for your practice, just do as many as fragments, create as many as fragments, include them and refer them. So this will help you to understand how to use the fragments, how to create the fragments and how to refer the fragments. These three steps you need to be very careful. So now I am copying this. It is for post method na? For body, how we can define or how you can refer this. Under the application, you need to select a type and give that name. That's it, right? Then what are the other properties are there? You can remove them. You can write another fragment for this library ID. We have 200 properties, 200 success response properties, right? So you can remove this. And this is also properties, which means response payload, that is come under data type fragment type. So just to select that, create that data type. Sorry. Just you can rename it, no problem. Yeah, you can rename it. This is for get library. Nice. Get library res data type. Maybe you can. Okay. Just a rename and add those properties. It's again same story. Okay. Now go to your RAML. Why I'm doing these many types, data types and all? This is just for your practice, but maybe we can reduce this. We can create all these responses somewhere. I have given multiple names here, but you need to follow naming conventions. Okay. So just to make you understand, you can give any name here in that perspective. I have given it. Okay. Get library exclamatory include, because all these things we have created just now are under comes under data types, so we are including under types element here. Okay, so this one you need to include now, right? So just click on copy path, paste it here, copy this name, and under the library URI parameter response we can mention it with type. Sometimes the suggestions will not show you, then just you need to remember that one, I mean that syntax, you can give it, right? Yeah, error gone. So like this now see, is there any redundant code, or is there any clumsy code available in my RAML? No, it looks very neat, it looks very clear, right? Now see, it is only 83 lines of code. Now my RAML, my specification is 83 lines of code. Earlier, if we include all these things into the RAML itself, it is coming like 250 or 230 lines of code. Now it is 83 line of code, and my RAML also looks very good, very clean. It is easy to understand, right? So libraries get method, yeah, it has some header information, it has some responses like that. It looks very good, right? So likewise, in your real-time projects, you need to design your RAML for all the requirements you have or all the features you are going to implement in this way by following all the best practices and all the reusable fragments. So in this video, maybe we can stop it here. It is a very lengthy video, I think. So let's stop it here. In our next video, we will create these fragments as a global fragments, and we can publish them into Exchange. We can include that into our main specification. Then we will publish our specification also into Exchange. Then we can start the implementation for this system API. I hope this video is very helpful for you. Okay, so share this information to your friends also to get this course, and share our channel, subscribe to our channel to get more free videos of other topics as well. Okay, so yeah, thank you. And you can download this project also. Just one thing, you can download this project just to have backup, because you know this is the trial account now. You cannot use this code after 30 days. So whenever you've done all this practice, just download your project, keep it somewhere. We can import this into another trial account. I'll show you that as well. But as of now, once you're done with a couple of changes, just download this code just for a backup, because this is the trial account. But in your real-time projects, you don't need to do this. Okay, thank you. Let's meet in another video.